You're listening to the Begin Within Health Show with Nate Slager. For more, go to beginwithin.fit/podcast, or to enroll right now in our flagship coaching program, go to beginwithin.fit/coaching. Welcome back to the Begin Within Health Show. I have a framework for you today. You love frameworks. I love frameworks. This one will change the game for you when it comes to your health and fitness. I promise you, it will change the game for you. I know that it will because it changed the game for me. And it changed the game for the clients that I work with. This was a huge shift for me at a time when I had been very frustrated. My clients had been very frustrated. Things weren't working. Things weren't happening. I came into the fitness industry thinking that, man, all you got to do is work out. You got to exercise. You got to burn those extra calories, and then you're going to lose weight, and you're going to feel good. You're going to be strong because you've been lifting those weights. Everything's going to be great. Well, it didn't work that way for my clients. They were frustrated. And I just thought, man, we got to work out harder. We got to push even more. And I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And I'll never forget, it hit me one day like a ton of bricks that it wasn't the workouts that were the problem. And that didn't take the pressure off of me because my job was still to deliver the results. I still wanted to deliver the results. So what did I have to do? I had to figure out what the problem was. I had to help them figure out what the problem was. The workouts were good. They're working out consistently. They're doing it well. They're doing it safely. They're sweating. They're putting effort at the gym. Everything was going great as far as that was concerned, but the results weren't coming. They were frustrated. I was frustrated. So we had to figure out what it was that wasn't working. And that's when this framework came to me. I realized that for myself, in my own health, in my own fitness, I wasn't counting calories. I wasn't worried about how many calories I was burning at the gym. I wasn't trying to track what was happening there. But I was healthy. Right? I looked healthy. I felt healthy. Things were going fine for me when it came to health and fitness. Of course, I was a personal trainer, so I knew the things that made the biggest difference when it came to my health. And of course, working out, getting into the gym was just one of those things. So then I thought, all right, what are the things? What really are the things in my life that I focus on in order to make sure that I'm moving in a healthier direction, that I'm healthier? And I put pen to paper and I figured out what they were. And there were a lot less of them than I actually thought. What happened was I came up with six of them. Of course, movement is only one of them, right? There were five other things that I put some intention into. I put some effort into to make sure that it was kind of dialed in, right? And I'm going to talk about that before we wrap up, how to dial it in. But here were the other five, in addition to getting in the gym, in addition to working out. Of course, there's nutrition. The food that I was eating, I paid attention to that. And I knew that if I wasn't, feeling the way that I wanted to feel, I wasn't waking up in the morning, feeling lean, feeling energetic. I knew it was about the foods that I had eaten the night before, or the things that I had, drank the night before, right? I knew it was something that I had ingested, likely that was influencing how I was feeling. Okay. And that one may come as no surprise to you. Nutrition is a big part of improving health. And there's so many elements to it. But I knew that was one of the things that I was working on. So I knew that it was one of the things that my clients, of course, had to work on. It was something that I had already been addressing with them. It wasn't that big of a revelation that we have to focus on that as well. It's not just about getting in the gym and sweating and working hard. It's about what we're eating as well. Now, I mentioned already, it's also about what we're drinking or not drinking. That influences how we're feeling, influences how our body's working. And I knew this as well. So for me, if I wasn't feeling good, I always thought, how have I been doing with hydration? How have I been doing getting my water in? For me, the gallon has always been the daily target, right? Maybe something different for you, that's okay. But for me, it was like, all right, yep, no, I've been falling far short of my target in terms of fluid ounces of good, clean, healthy water every day. All right, I got to give some attention to that, right? So I kind of just created this checklist, right? You can already see it. So obviously I'm getting my workouts in, but for myself, also, how's the nutrition? How is the hydration? How are those things going? And again, probably no secrets when it comes to health and fitness, that those are things that have to be on the list. But now we have 3, and there's 3 more. And I already mentioned this one, sleep, right? If I wasn't feeling good, I wasn't feeling mentally sharp, I was feeling tired. And at the time when this framework came to me, not that it's like this miraculous revelation by any means, I was getting up very early. I had clients for a good amount of time. I would train at 4:30 a.m. I was at the gym. I was training them by 4:30. So do the math, subtract from that what time I had to get up and get to the gym. But sleep, so important, right? And so I knew for myself that sleep was important and how I was feeling and how much energy I had. At the time, I didn't even realize that sleep was so important when it came to what was happening with food being digested and stress and repairing from stress during the day, rest and recovery, right? For me, it was about getting enough sleep so that I felt good and knowing that sleep also helps our muscles repair and grow stronger. So I focused on that. That was on the list. And I knew if I wasn't feeling well, it's because I haven't been sleeping well. I haven't been getting to bed at bedtime. Because if you're like me, wake up time is always wake up time. You know what time that's going to happen, but it's about getting to bed on time, getting to bed at bedtime, and making sure that the circumstances, the conditions are good for good quality sleep. So now we have 4, right? We have our workouts, we have our nutrition, we have our hydration, we have our sleep. The other 2 are a big part of health, and they're things that I was practicing, things that I was doing in my life to also make sure that I was caring for these. And the first one is my relationship with myself. I'll call it that, right? So for me, this was having time on a daily basis to be still, to breathe, to spend time with nature. At the time, we lived real close to a little pond, and I would just go and I would sit down, I would just look at the water. I'd watch the animals around the pond, and I just felt it was just so relaxing. It was something that truly, for me, fit the definition of the word recreation or recreation, right? After that, I felt so relaxed. I felt so peaceful. Having spent that time, I worked on doing some journaling as well, those kinds of things. My relationship with myself became a priority in my life. And so same, if I wasn't taking the time for some of those things, and of course there are many, many other things that for me are involved in that now, if I wasn't taking the time for those things, I didn't feel well. And I would say I shouldn't have felt well. right? If I wasn't addressing having a good relationship with myself, working on how I was dealing with stress in an emotional, psychological way, those kinds of things. How organized was I? How was I doing using my calendar? Those things all kind of fell into that category for me of relationship with myself. And it's part of health. It's a big part of health. One of the biggest, because from that comes our mindset, positivity, optimism, motivation, our reasons for doing the things that we're doing, our values all come from that, being aware of them. So, um, relationship with myself. All right, so that's 5. So there's move, nutrition, hydration, sleep, my relationship with myself, and then of course the next one is just a relationship with other people. The relationship with others, a connection outside of myself, with others, with my wife, with friends, and with nature, right? And you can see that there's some overlap with these. But that was also part of good health for me. If there was a relationship that wasn't doing well, I didn't feel well. I didn't have energy. I didn't want to do the things that I knew that I needed to do in order to be healthy. If I had a relationship that was just out of whack, right? It needed to be addressed. I needed to resolve that in order for me to feel good about taking better care of myself. So I realized that, relationships outside of myself were very, very important as well. And those had to be going well in order for me to feel well and be well. So there were those 6. And what I found was, being in the health and fitness industry, as I was kind of thinking about these, everything else that people were pushing, people were encouraging, people were saying, it fit into one of these 6 categories. And I just kept thinking, wow, there it is. There's only 6. And for me, dialing this in each of these 6 areas is something like, imagine a swing set that has 6 swings on it. Because I realized this is how it was for myself. Each of these 6 areas, if any of these areas started to slip, I started to feel like, I'm not, I became aware that I wasn't as healthy and feeling as good as I knew I was capable of. What I did was I just thought about these 6 very quickly, and I knew right away which was the one that needed attention and what I needed to do in order to get that area sort of back online, right? That area of my life. I'm not trying to be perfect, just trying to have the big pieces in place within that category. So picture a swing set, 6 swings. The way that I found that I was doing it for myself, and this is the way that I still explain it to clients, the way I encourage them to think about their health and fitness, is you've got these 6. You've got these 6 things. Good health is when all 6 are moving, right? You can imagine on each of those swings, maybe there's a little kid and you've got 6 kids, and you got to make sure they're all having a good time at the same time. So what do you do as the sitter? The one who brought all the kids to the park. We got to make sure that they're all moving, right? All those swings are moving. So you give them a good push, and then the next one you give a good push to, and then you move down the line, all 6. And then before you know it, one of them is starting to slow down. What do? You get over by that one, give it a push. And then what? After that, another one's starting to slow down. I got to get over there. I got to give that one a push. And this is the framework for taking care of our health. We can structure it. We can systemize it. We can make processes and put them in place in all kinds of different ways. But basically what each of us needs to do is we just got to keep each of these areas moving, right? Picture the swing. But if we haven't given attention to it, it's not going to go by itself. We can do the best we can with building in good habits, automate it as much as possible, have a good schedule, those kinds of things. But basically, each of them need attention on a regular basis. And if we've just kind of been throwing caution to the wind, if we haven't been giving it attention, more than likely it needs some attention. It needs a good push. And so we get over there and we do it. We get over there and we give it attention. We say, all right, in this area, what do I need to do right now? What can I do? What am I willing, able, and ready to do in this area that is going to give it the push that it needs in order for it to kind of get back online and get back to working for me, helping me to feel like the healthiest version of myself that I possibly can right now? What do I need to do to get this area going again? How do I give it a push? And as I share this framework with clients now over the years, and I've continued to use it in my life, it's just that simple. What do I need to do to give this a push? I don't have what I want. I'm not experiencing the health that I want. Which of these areas is the one that I haven't pushed lately? Which of these areas is the one that needs some attention? Which of these areas could be the one that's contributing to how I've been feeling? And of course, again, they are all overlapping, interconnected areas. But when they're all moving, when they're all working for us, even just a little bit, we are going to feel healthy. We're going to be healthy. And we're going to continue to move in the direction that we want to be moving in a healthier direction. I would love to know what you think about this framework. If you have been around my community for a while, you're no stranger to it. I'm sure you've heard me talk about these 6 things in different ways. But for me, this swing set metaphor, this was the one where it just clicked. I hope that it clicks for you. I know for a lot of my clients, it does. It works. And oftentimes when they're not sure how to move forward, we go back to it. We go through the 6, and then we just talk about what's next in the area that they choose that needs to get some attention. But I'd love to know what you think about the framework. You can find me at Nate Slager on social media. If you would love a bit of a systemized approach to this, if you would love a little bit more input from me in how you can address each of these 6 areas, the coaching program that you hear about at the beginning of our episodes at beginwithin.fit/coaching, it has exactly that. Each of these 6 areas, we break them down into the biggest things that will make the biggest difference with the littlest amount of effort. In that coaching program, you'll learn about it and you have an opportunity to turn it into a habit and practice it for a week or 2 before you learn about another element of one of those 6 areas. I want to thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of the episode, for sharing the episode with someone that you care about, that you could support. And your listening, your being here with me is helping to keep this podcast in the top 10% of all the podcasts. It's a lot of podcasts. And so I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to be accessible to you in this way. Thank you so much for your support. And I will talk with you again very soon here on the Begin Within Health Show. Keep taking good care of yourself.